Dillon sauntered onto the compact club stage to raucous whoops and applause from the packed house. Cigarette dangling from his lips, he flashed his trademark mischievous smirk while surveying the audience like a wolf eyeing a flock of plump lambs. "What's up, you psycho fucks?" he growled into the mic, eliciting another wave of cheers and catcalls. "Welcome to the shit show. Who's ready to get filthy tonight?" A thunderous roar of approval rolled through the dimly lit venue as Tim took a long drag and slowly exhaled a plume of blue smoke over the first few rows. He was firmly in his element, an ID-driven master of depraved ceremonies holding court before his devoted degenerates. "Awesome, awesome. That's what I like to hear," he purred in conspiratorial tones. "Just a heads up though, tonight's profane palooza is gonna get downright heretical at times. Like, seriously sacrilegious shit that'll have you sinners shifting in your seats." His shark-like grin widened as the crowd ate it up, practically salivating for the fresh transgressions to come. "Because tonight, we're desecrating one of the modern era's most sanctified golden calves, the undisputed queen of delusional self-worship and the empty fucking cult of narcissism." A few riotous cheers rang out in anticipation of the unveiling, but most of the audience only exchanged perplexed looks and murmurs. Tim savored the momentary uncertainty, reveling in dragging out the sadistic tension a beat or two longer. "That's right, you zoo animals, we're pissing on the royal doghouse and taking the Duchess of Dog Biscuits down a peg or 12. The deafening eruption of laughter, applause, and hollers that greeted this declaration rattled the very foundations as Tim's loyal degenerates recognized the gloriously irreverent territory into which their master had steered them. "Meghan Markle, everyone. That ginger-toned mutt of Windsor privilege who cusses us mere peasant pups with her audacious delusions of grandeur and persecution shtick every time she yaps out that condescendingly overcompensated word hole." Another riotous blast of cathartic cheers resonated through the club as Dillon cranked up the blasphemous mockery to full tilt. He took another indulgent drag and soaked in the sheer ecstasy of profaning such an idolized sacred cow of insipid celebrity preening. This was always his sweetest elixir. "Now I ask you, savages, what kind of sickeningly warped fucking ego does a fame-hungry bitch have to possess to not only flounce around imperiously scowling down her surgically refined nose at we riffraff commoners, but to constantly blare for all to hear how we should be groveling to worship her mere existence?" The comic let loose a throaty cackle that seemed to shake the very walls as a flash of genuine revulsion twisted his features. "Seriously, can you imagine having a daily internal monologue constantly echoing ad nauseum about how society should be falling prostrate out of sheer gratitude over you having graced the world with your royal, biscuit-brained fucking presence? That level of psychosis makes Ted Bundy look downright well-adjusted." The lambasting was rapturously received, every profanely hilarious insight into Meghan's rampant egomania and self-professed martyrdom goading the audience into a frothing fever pitch of release and recognition. And her latest round of bitch fits about being a voice for the voiceless disenfranchised hushed masses? Dillon sneered with theatrical air quotes. "Give me a fucking break, the only thing she's muting is her long-suffering husband's testicles shrieking for mercy from her vice grip." He took a beat after that incendiary zinger to drink in the bellowing gales of laughter, savoring his worshippers' drunken surrender to blasphemous catharsis like a drug. And let's not forget about her new, inspirational, kiddie book about how daddy animals can sometimes be pieces of shit if they miss a soccer game or two, yet ironically little Miss Mullet conveniently breezed over how shitty mum can be when she uproots the whole family and drags them to a new country just to indulge her fame whoring after screaming at the in-laws. Roars of delighted disgust and recognition flooded the cramped space as Dillon egged on his congregation's eager surrender to the blackest profane depths. He drew them in with that famous sinister twinkle as he wound up for the grand finale. "Do you rejects and wastrels even realize what a sick, depraved level of entitled fucking delusion it requires to not just spew those bitter distortions, but to do it clutching a children's book?" he hissed in theatrical awe. "That's some Charlie Manson-esque, psycho cult leader indoctrination shit right there. Like, her hypnotized brain legit believes she's bequeathing invaluable nuggets of wisdom and truth to impressionable youngsters while shoving that agenda-polluted dreck down their throats." He cackled again, a gravelly, unhinged bark of exultation at the absurdity of Meghan's unchecked woke piety signaled and worshipped so slavishly. At this point, I can only hope to whatever dark entities are out there that she keeps blathering on with her barrage of deranged persecution and grandeur diatribes. Because with each jaw-droppingly pompous declaration, more and more eyes are mercifully stripped of the great Pudner's obscene scales. Tim Dillon grinned savagely as the raucous ovation reached its fever pitch and his congregation of depravity reveled in the grand ritual desecration complete. So let's raise a collective toast to the Duchess of Dog Biscuits herself, the esteemed mascot of Hollywood scam artistry and psychological torment wrapped in one smug, rusty fucking package.